God, look at this guy's face. He just buried a bone. So you have another one. I have something for you, another true story. It's going back a ways. It's when I lived out in the desert. I was 22 years of experience, and I went out and lived in the desert, well, at an Indian spiritual hot springs. And this is one of the stories that I have for you. Now, I don't know if anyone's heard of Dr. Ray Brown. He's a natural, he doesn't, naturopath. He was a naturopath that pulled up on a 1200 Harley, his girlfriend on the back with sheep wool pillows, and said, "Kids, get a blanket, sit out on the grass. I've got a story for you." So we all got our blankets, sat on the grass, and he came up. This is the guy, this is the thumbnail. The Atlantian Crystal. Now, prior to this, in 1923, Edgar Cayce, anybody remembers Edgar Cayce? He was the sleeping prophet. He said that off of Bimini, there would be a Atlantis. Atlantis would be rising. You know what happened? 1968, that's when it happened, that the wall, that they call it a wall, was found. Michael Hummerbolt, greetings from Sajars. Sajars. Hey, that sounds like it's pretty far away. Hello, Michael. So he was a naturopath. He was a healer. And what he did was he, all you have to do is vet me on this, because I just looked it up. And Michael Hummerbolt, close to Van Kitt. Van Kitt, huh? I'm gonna have to look that up. He, the Atlantian Crystal, just Google Atlantian Crystal by Dr. Ray Brown, and it's Leonard Nimoy's Unexplained Mysteries. Perfect. And that'll be a YouTube thing, and it'll show you a whole lot of stuff that I just got done reading. Hey, this dirty, filthy dog wants one more. This is it. This is all you get. This is it. No more. No more. All right. Yeah, like he's going to remember that. We have Dr. Ray Brown, and, well, he told us a story that you're not going to find in Google, and you're not going to find it in any of the stories that I've tried to find. He told us, he says, "I've got it, but not on me." He said, "The ruby, the red ruby." Well, nobody even mentioned the red ruby, although I did get a little piece of it on Google. They said the metal rod that was coming down had a red gem. That's all it said. Didn't say no ruby. Dr. Brown said ruby. 100% Tudo legal. Oh, yeah. Metamus. And then manifest. Oh, this dog keeps jumping up. That's Sweet Cat. All right, Sweet Cat. Dr. Ray Brown told us this story that. Okay, first I want to tell you what he told us, and then from there you can match it up with what Google says, which is totally nothing compared to what he told us. Okay, they never mentioned the red ruby. He says it was a big ruby, not that big, and that was part of the story. That okay, let me start from the beginning. First time he was there, he got hit in the back of the head. He was pronounced dead, and then he comes back to reality, and then you have a Southern Alabama accent. Could be just the New Jersey draw. And Corner Galvin, Courts Hall, Dollar Store Willie Nelson. Come on, Willie Nelson's no dollar store guy. You saying I am? Oh my. Hello, Leprechaun. Yes, I do believe in leprechauns. In Brazil, 100 expecto. I'm from Brazil. Well, I'm not, but it seems like you are. So after he came to, um, he got a fresh crew and went out to the same place out in Bimini. It's where the tongue of Bimini goes down about 14,000 feet. And they had a big storm. He lost a lot of photo equipment, and it did damage to the ship. He did say that. So after the storm, by the way, he found a Spanish galleon, and he found a lot of money, gold. Okay, so they were well off. They could go back and forth if they wanted to. Hi from India. Hey, India. I'm going to get out there and see you guys one of these days. Message held for review. I hope that's not another troll. This guy looks like he owns 5 plantations. I don't know about that. China Maha said hi. Hey. So a lot of stuff was damaged the second time they went out, but the big storm, when they looked over the boat, they saw buildings down in the water that they never saw before. So how Dr. Ray Brown explains it, he says, they were so excited, they all just put on their scuba gear and jumped off into the water. Now, they did this with nobody, they didn't anchor it. And this is the hindsight, he said, that, well, when they came back, they couldn't believe they had a boat because nobody stayed aboard. And the boat was still there. Very unusual. So when he jumps off, he was separated from his crew. And what he saw was a pyramid sticking out of just the top of the pyramid. Had sort of a lapis, a blue lapis to it. And it was shiny. And he went around to where he found a hole that he went into the pyramid. Now, he had no torch. He had nothing. But when he went into the pyramid, it was totally bright. He could see around it perfectly. And what it was these hands like this hand, and pretend I had another hand. It was like bronze or metal. And in the middle of it had a crystal. But above it was where the ruby was hanging onto the metal rod. So he took the ruby. And then he was running out of air. So there was like a voice or a presence that said to him, do not ever return. So he gets out. They all meet back at the boat. They're just so excited that they have this red ruby. And now that is between 68 and 70, I guess, because the story is being told to us in 1976 when I'm in the desert. Okay. Travis Jones, you a liar? Absolutely not. I'm telling you the gospel truth of what Dr. Ray Brown said to me and the rest of us that were sitting there. And this does not correlate with what you're going to find on Google. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Nobody ever mentions the red ruby. To this day, I have not found who has it. Maybe somebody out there that knows could leave me a message on that. So I come across this book on Atlantis. It was at a thrift store or something. I picked it up. Well, halfway through, I get in the middle, and here's Dr. Ray Brown, which I said, this can't be the same guy. And then it said, yeah, he went back the second time in 1980, and he goes back into the pyramid. Well, that's where the hands were, and he got the crystal out of the hands. Now, it just so happens that 4 of the divers, they drowned. Okay, but he gets back and has the crystal. I believe he passed somewhere in the 90s, about 89 or so. So somebody else has the crystal, but from what I understand, the guy that has the crystal was kind of a goofy guy, I guess. He boiled the crystal in some kind of water or something, and it cracked like in 3 pieces. It's not quite the same anymore. But when you look up Unexplained Mysteries by Leonard Nimoy, you'll see they have this metal rod that when they get close to the crystal, it pushes it back. So it had this, well, they said the healing powers, as well as there was something about the ions in it that made it very unusual. So we know that Atlantis is coming up again. Uncle, can you store some? Can you store some hash for me? No, those days are done for Uncle Martin. Thank you. What is the purpose of life? The purpose of life is for us to consume darkness. Start within yourself. And then by doing that, you'll be able to go out further and get more of that darkness consumed. Because if you haven't noticed, this planet is rather dark. Actually, it is very dark, even though we think we see a bright sun. The dimensions of what we can see as far as light goes, it's not really very much. Our perspective of what we're capable of seeing by eyesight is very limited. That would be another story. Yin Yang, I miss my dad. Well, just give him love and light. His soul will be protected. Now this is good content while I'm on. While you're sitting down, this is good content. That's very good. We have a lot of things with Atlantis that nobody's talking about. How there's there's ships that flew. They had submarines. India has a lot of things with them being able to have atomic power. And a lot of that was through atomic bombs, if you look into it. Now, I heard about this pretty much aloha, purpose of life is love, absolutely. If you go down 9 civilizations in India, you'll find green glass that is exactly the same as we found out in the diggings that after we did our atomic bomb, and they were doing atomic bomb shots. Actually, they were all watching atomic in the 50s and 60s. They were watching from a distance, Nevada, doing shots, atomic shots they called it. God only knows how much radiation they were all having, right? So as we dig down, we've always found different glass. In fact, where Sodom and Gomorrah is right now, there's radiation higher than they ever experienced before. So we could have had these things happening prior to what we think we're so advanced on. If you look at all the big monoliths, all the stonework that we cannot even say how it's done. That was from the Atlanteans just before the last drop off. They had 2 other cataclysms, and the third one was nobody was really left. That was where the big flood came in. Let's see, dang, tough as nails. Wow. Yeah, I used to know a guy really tough. He had his teeth pulled, and he went out and bought a bag of peanuts. That's pretty tough. So we have all these things that we can't explain, yet if we look at it, a lot of us, we're finding pyramids not only in the United States, but all over South America. I mean, as they look down, they can see these impressions that apparently people can't go to because they're now off limits. Why would that ever happen? I find that more information we get, that's when people start saying, no, you can't go there. Sort of like the Forbidden Zone down at the bottom of Grand Canyon that I spoke about before, that has all this information in this cave. Over 50,000 people can sit in this cave. When you go in, you get the Viking stuff, then all the mummies from the Egyptians, and then you get this, it's either a Kuan Yin or Gautama Buddha sitting in a pose, very big. And I guess you can't go there. It's off limits. Yeah, so there's things you notice that The more history that we start uncovering, there seems to be a barrier for us not to know what's going on. Why is that? Because knowledge is power. And the more you know, the more you're able to discern. And it's always been that way. Staying off the grid. Well, you can try to stay off the grid, but we seem to keep coming back. Africa started slavery. Shame on them. I think slavery started even before Africa. If you look biblically, there were slaves in biblical times. And I think some of that is part of what the Bible's all about. Giving us a firm hand saying, these were not positive things to have slavery, which we do still have today, but hopefully we're going to stop that soon. Turbo and paint free. I could take your car and turbo it for free. No, I gotta, it's an old, you think it's old, it's 2006 Lincoln, but it's only got 34,000 miles on it. Lincolns don't go negative until over 100,000. I got a spanking deal on that one. I've always driven a Lincoln. I love them. Nope, Sudan, North Egypt, and China, Rome, France, and England. All these places have hidden treasures to them. Perceive the world now compared to your younger days. How do I perceive the world now compared to younger days? Well, obviously it's moving quicker and faster. We can, back in my day, we had a rotary phone. You have to look what that is. And I'll tell you what. We were told we had to come back inside when the street lights came on, all right? You could go a little further. Maybe there wasn't just it was just the times. And now I would say, kids, you don't go anywhere without a friend, because there's thousands and thousands of children being missing every day. Somebody's snagging up all these kids. You gotta wonder. Besides not sounding positive, what's happening to these kids? Well, it was safer, more fun, and simpler back then. We were kind of poor, I guess. We didn't get all that many toys, and the toys we did get, we destroyed. So we ended up playing with sticks and rocks. And, I made castles, and actually I was having a great time. Your imagination was used more, I believe, back in the day. And now a lot of kids, I guess you just go right on the YouTube or your computer, and you find games to play, which is actually, bro, experience whole history. Yes, we see future in the world. You see future for the world. I see future for the world if you take care of one thing that's always, man, I'll tell you, I remember playing with friends outside in the early 2000s in the punk teenagers, man. The Mongoose bike I used to have. Mongoose, hey, he's kicking dirt. The Mongoose, I had the Stingray. The Stingray was the fantastic bike that had handlebars, banana seat, slick tires. You did wheelies. And I guess that was like 65 or something like that. But everybody wanted one. The Mongoose, I heard about that. That was a fantastic bike too. Times are moving so much quicker now. The acceleration is amazing. People's awareness is really clicking in. That, I was just thinking about that the other day. That was a very good question. Like Jerry Lewis, there was a stupid show called The Life of Riley with William Bendix. He was like a goofy guy. The Three Stooges, all that. You look at all that stuff, and what you found was the kids and the parents were all laughing at it. They thought it was funny. I look at it now and I say, it's stupid. I'm sorry. I look back at some of the stuff only because what happens is you bring you bring yourself back to that time period and what was going on at that time period. So it helps your memory on what was going on. I had traveled so much in my life and went to 20 schools, and that's why I there's a lot of cartoons that I ordered, like Bullwinkle and I don't know, all the Looney Tunes and all that stuff, because by watching them I could remember what state I was in and what I was doing. Really helps your memory. So if there's any time period that you're doubtful of, try to think of a sitcom that you were always watching, and by watching that, you can then think back of your surroundings a little better. Just a little hint there. Uh, Joe, dude, how days when you use your imagination you get diagnosed? Nowadays, when you use your imagination, you get diagnosed. Imagination is creativity. And I do believe it was Einstein that said there was nothing more important than you having an imagination. Because you see, your imagination is through thought. And it takes a millionth of a spark of electricity to make any thought. So when you're thinking and you're imagining, you are an electrical lightning bolt. That when you start charging your imagination, things start happening. Especially when you start doing it positively. You can do it negatively, but they're both going to come back to you. So I would suggest when you start charging your thoughts to be as positive as you can. And the more you can visualize, your creativity of visualization. And that's what's happening today, I think. A lot of kids and people don't have that that type of visualization with emotion behind it. That is kind of a secret there. That's when things start coming your way in abundance and such. It's like 109, and I can tell my apps are going out again here. But if anybody wants to give a thumbs up or down, that'd be great. Comment would be fantastic. Good boy. I'm still trying to figure out how I can keep all these comments so I can look back on them. But as soon as I post this, they're all taken away again. So if you have any, if I miss somebody and you want to know what I think or how I feel about it, just leave me a comment. I'll be able to do that. Anything more I'm grateful for. But right now, my apps are starting to go out again, I can tell. And the last thing I want to say is just remember, Google Dr. Raymond Brown, Atlantian Crystal, Leonard Nimoy's Unexplained Mysteries. And you'll have a plethora of information. And they don't mention a thing about that red ruby. So anybody out there that knows about it, if you could just give me a hey, you know where it's at, or you know somebody that had it, or somebody that saw it, that would be very nice. So until I see you again, today's Wednesday. I guess I'll have something for you tomorrow on Thursday, maybe even Friday, but we'll have to see. Until we talk again, or listen, be well, God victory.